representative, and what's your name? C. Sawyer. Oh, I'll let you introduce yourself as well. From Dean Phillips' office, do you want to say a word real quick?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Declan T. Sawyer, and I'm with Congressman Dean Phillips' office. And he wanted to make sure that our office was here to listen to you all, listen to the experts here at the panel, but mostly listen to you all about your concerns and regarding affordable housing. He is a new member on the House Financial Services Committee, and so in that role, he will be able to have an influence on how the federal government supports affordable housing initiatives. So I'm going to have a seat, but I'm here to listen. I already spoke with many of you at your tables because I really wanted to hear your stories and what brought you here. So please feel free to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to the Congressman for sending you as well.
You want me to keep using this? Ooh, it lowered my voice. I like that's nice. I also wanted to say really quickly, if you watched the State of the Union address last night, Congressman Dean Phillips was wearing a really classy white jacket in honor of all the women and suffragettes that were wearing white last evening as well. So very classy move, tell the Congressman. I just wanted to say really quickly that with what's happening in Eden Prairie and what has been happening around the affordable housing issue, in my mind there's just a lot of good news and a lot of challenging news. And the good news is that if you just look at raw numbers, we're doing pretty well. Out of 25,000 housing units across the city, what am I doing now? Out of 25,000 units across the city, about 9,500 would fall within the affordable range at the 80% AMI level. They have to become available. I mean, some of that's naturally occurring affordable housing in older housing stock, some of it condominiums, new apartment buildings. In fact, mentioning apartments, we have about 900 affordable housing apartment units, again at the 80% or lower AMI level, and about 125 coming online right now, being built. You see construction cranes around the city. So we'll have over 1,000 affordable housing units. So all that's the good news. The challenging news is that across the entire metro area I'm going to look at some experts now, I think we're 65,000 units short by 2030, something higher, but a lot, right? They can go talk to the experts to get the exact numbers, but we're short a lot of affordable housing units, and I heard the other day we're 6.5 or 7 million units short across the nation by some year, 2030 something. The point is, we're not keeping up with enough housing units anywhere. And so when you hear sometimes that apartment buildings or whatever get built and they don't have any affordable component to it, that's not necessarily all bad news, because we need more housing stock, period, in the whole system, and then people move around within it. I mean, even if we were to build $1 million homes, there might be people that move from $700,000 homes and people that move from $300,000 homes and people that move from $200,000, and we end up opening up naturally occurring affordable housing. So we need more housing stock everywhere, and along with that, we need to make sure that we're dedicating a certain amount of affordable housing of all the new units. And we do have that. We have new apartment and condo co-op units going in around the Smith Cafe with affordable components, 90% affordable of the common bound. I'll let you talk more about that. Elevate has 20% of its 220 units that are affordable. Southview, which is over by the library, which you can't use at the moment because it's getting renovated, has 10% affordable units. And then the Prairie Bluff complex over toward Bloomington in our side of town, though, by Hennepin Town Road, has 6 to 8, I think, elderly waiver affordable units. So we're doing what we can. We need to do more. I'm going to stop. I appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. Do I pass it down to? Thank you so much.
We would like to pass to William Terms from Timberland Properties. So William, will you please talk about your properties, how many are affordable, our units will be affordable, and the timeline of to the move into the apartment building,
Sure.
and the waiting list when the applications are going up on the
Absolutely. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I am William Thermos. You can call me Bill. I work for a company called Timberland Partners, and we are building the Elevate Apartments next to the Southwest Station over here in Eden Prairie. Let's see, a little bit about our company. We are located in 13 states. We have about 70 properties, and we're just crossing over about 14,000 apartments. Here in Minnesota, we have 20 apartments, but we have 2 that are coming out of the ground. We have the property here in Eden Prairie, and we have a second property up in Minneapolis called G4, which is just off of the University of Minnesota campus. Both properties will have 20% affordable units as a part of the project. Let me talk a little bit about Elevate. We broke ground last spring, and we are scheduled to be opening late August or early September of this year. The target date is August 28th. We did run into a bit of a problem with Eden Prairie, because we're mayor. Apparently there's a little bit of swamp under our building, so we had to drive 2 more pylons in, about 300 of them. But now we're sure that the building will hold up. It will be no problem. It just set our construction back a little bit, but through hard work with our contractor, we are back on schedule. So we will be opening roughly around August 28th of this year. There's 222 apartments in the property. Of those 222, we will have 20% will be affordable, or 45 apartments. We are in the process of, we have an interest list that's growing and growing, which is great and sad at the same time. We're very happy that people are interested in our property, but we also understand that the demand is great. So I have some flyers here. I brought a couple hundred. So when we're all done today, please feel free to stop up and grab a flyer. And what we're doing is, on the flyer is our website and a phone number. If you call that phone number, you will get a voicemail. That voicemail will come to me, and either myself or one of my staff members will email you or contact you back and get you on the interest list. The building itself, of the 222 apartments, we have studio apartments, we have 1-bedrooms, and we have 2-bedroom apartments. Let's see. The other thing is, you wanted to ask about applications. So, as a part of the process, we can't start accepting applications until 6 months before we are open. So we cannot accept any applications until March. Once we cross over to March, our ILS, Internet Listing Services, will become live, and we will start taking applications. So that process will begin right around March 1st to 7th, and then that application process will continue through until we go live in August. So again, I have the information here, and it's just a simple picture of the building with our website and our phone number. If you need to catch me afterwards, if you have questions, I'll hang around for a few minutes. And other than that, I think I'm done. So who do I hand this to?
Assalamu alaikum. I will do some translation. First of all, let me translate what the mayor says. I will summarize. Mayor, what do you think? What do you think? Okay, mayor, wuxuu ka hadlay horta idin mahadceliyay dhammaantiin marka soo qaybgalayaasha wuxuu kaloo mahadceliyay elected officialska sida Johnson Park oo kaleete David Gotel, Harbin County, Lori Breyer iyo Carla dadka maartay laga doortay inay dhow wada joogaan caawa dhammaantood ugu mahadceliyay waxa uu kaloo sheegay in change ka dhacay magaalada change-gana waxaa ka dhacay jawaan lala jaan qaadan weeyay idinkoo kaloo yani 20 sano ka hor kala qof oo Soomaali madow yahay oo muslim ah tijaabada ma joogo jirin meesha marka change-gaas ka hadlay wuxuu ka hadlay in 900 oo unit oo 900 apartment oo affordable ay mataqaanay ay inbir ku yaalaan 150 cusub oo dhisayo ay ka mid yihiin kuwa hadda dhisayo ama Elevate ama mataqaanay kama qoon kala soo socday ku jiraan baahida aad iyo aad fara badan tahay ayuu runtii ka hadlay maydkaas oo mataqaanay soo koobay waxaa ugu muhiimsan Timberland isagana hadlaysi waxa ugu muhiimsanaa wuxuu saddex tuurisay baa joognaa guri oo loo gurburto hadda dhisaynaa guri Minneapolis halka laakiin tan idin beerid aan soo noqono waa 222 unit 222 apartment iyo total cost meesha laga dhisayo 20% ka mid ah 45 ayaa waxay noqonayaan waxa loogu talagalay dadka loo kanka mataqaanay ama subsidiyo ama income based noqonaya 10 to 40%, right? 10 to 50% ama average median income area. Wuxuu sheegay inay hayaan flyers warqadaha yaalo ku qoran telephone iyo website. Waxay interest list la geliyo waxaysaa arrin baad reebaysaa kuwa labaad leedahay email buu soo diraya email baad leelaysaa wuxuu sharcigu ma aha 6 bilood ka hor inta la dhamaystirin application xino laakiin application waxaa bilaabayaa bisha March waa bisha soo socota marka qof kasta inta ka mid ah waraaqaha ha qaato ha waco barin ha u eego markaas waa dhaqaalaha soo waya qofka shaqeeya soo waya markaasaan mataqaanaa ila soo gelaynaa kabacdi markaasaan bulshada dad fara badan baa soo ay intimaan aad iyo gudaha loo rabaa afartan shan ka mid waa mataqaanaa afar boqol marka intaa ka mid qaataan mataqaanaa inkina Soomaaliya meesha degan soo dadaalka iyo energy faraha badan bixin maadeen idinka ka faa'iideysan doontaan insha Allah taas ka dhigaya really waa hal qol laba qol iyo studio hadhow markii laydin dhame wakifo qolen siiyo ka hadlay laba qol iyo saddex qol okay I would like to give the mic to the Executive Vice President of Real Estate of Compound.
Is this a good distance? Great. Closer? Okay, great. Well, thanks everyone for having me this evening, and the food is delicious. Thank you for dinner this evening. So I'm Diana Deisty. I'm actually project manager at Common Bond Communities. I'm replacing our executive vice president of real estate this evening. I'm a project manager within the real estate department of Common Bond, and just a brief intro of Common Bond. We are the largest nonprofit organization that provides affordable housing and supportive services in the upper Midwest. And we're based in St. Paul, and we're founded in 1971, so we have pretty extensive experience in the metro and throughout Minnesota, and we also operate in Iowa and Wisconsin as well. We own and manage and also develop our own housing portfolio. And in the state, we are located in the metro and also suburban and rural areas. We own and operate over 100 properties, and that is about 6,000 units or so, and serving over 12,000 residents. So we do our best to have a broad reach in our services. And why I'm here tonight is that we've been working on a new housing community in the city of Eden Prairie for about the last year or so. And we've worked closely with city staff and elected officials who have been very supportive of Common Bond, our model for housing and services, and welcoming us into the community. And affordable housing is expensive to develop. It's just as expensive as other new construction, and we wouldn't be able to do the projects that we do without the support of financial partners, which include the state of Minnesota, Metropolitan Council, Hennepin County, and local resources at the city of Eden Prairie as well. So I'm sure you all are interested in the building itself. So it's a family housing community that we are developing. It includes 58 units of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units, and those will be available for families and individuals with incomes that range from about $30,000 a year up to about $60,000. And as was referenced, the majority are affordable or available to the local workforce. And 10%, so 6 units, will be unrestricted, so meaning market rate rents. And the timeline for the development, we're just working on finalizing the construction financing, the permanent financing. So we look to acquire the property. I should say where it's located. So it's located just off of Eden Prairie Road and Highway 212. So the Smith Douglas Moore House, a historic property here, the gem of the community, which I really enjoyed every time I'm here. It's just adjacent to that site. So the building is part of a larger housing or proposed housing community, which includes our family development and also a senior for sale co-op style product. So that's about 110 units, or is it down to 100? Between 100 and 110 units. And then there's also smaller scale townhome developments. That there will be 6 as well. And so the developments are proposed by 3 different entities. So Common Bond will be owning, developing, and managing the workforce housing community, the 58 units. And then another local developer called United Properties is developing and then selling the units at the senior property, and another local developer will be completing the for sale townhomes. So Common Bond will also, the timeline, we look to acquire the property and begin construction immediately this summer, and then it'll be complete around summer or fall of next year, so about a 11 or 12 month construction schedule. And similar to Timberland, we'll be taking applications about 6 months before the project comes online. So we're looking sometime in the fall as well. We'll be accepting applications. And in addition to the housing, we'll be providing supportive services to the residents of the community, and those are available to people that want them. The services range from things like study buddies or after-school programming for children, to support accessing local resources in the community, or supporting employment and helping people identify ways to increase their wages. So with that, rents will be ranging from about $700 a month up to $1,500 for the larger unrestricted or market rate units, but the majority will be available to individuals kind of at that middle income tier of about $50,000 per year or less for a family of 4. But that, like I said initially, that really ranges from units available for incomes between about $30,000 and $60,000 per year for a family of 4. So I'm available for questions later. Thank you.
وأخبرهم بكذا شيء لكن خير ما سأقول إن شاء الله. gabadhan Diane Dynasty waxay marka hore project manager baahayd caawa ay waxay noqotay executive vice president-iga real estate compound caawa bilaabaysa tayta kala sheegtay waxay tiri waxaan leenahay ilaa iyo 100 wax ka badan oo properties yani 100 guryo ka badan ama building 12 oo qof baa degan bay tiri guryahanaga oo family housing intooda badan idin player waxay ka dhisayaan 58 unit oo 1 iyo 2 iyo 3 mataqaanaa ay apartment isku dhex jiraan ma ayna kala sheegin imisa noqon doontaa 3 qol imisa noqon doontaa 2 qol imisa noqon doontaa 1 qol idinka rabaan weydiisaan income-ka looga baahan yahay in halkaa ay degaan guryahaas eligible ku noqonayaan waxay tiri waa 30 ilaa 60 haddii 60 ka badan qof uu sameeyo ama family sameeyaan eligible ku noqonayaan hadday 30 doollar ka yar sameeyaan eligible ku noqonayaan marka saas u sheegtaas waxaa ku jira guryaha 10% restricted oo market rate waxaa laga dhisayaa Edinburgh Road iyo 212 waad garanaysa mamaya wadada Edinburgh Road iyo 212 meesha jiraan wuxuu yahay meesha historic maataqaana Douglas House Smith Coffee Shop iyo waad gartaqaana soo maa halkaas guryo ku dhagan yihiin qolo kale ayagana yada United Properties ayagana meesha wax ka dhifro gareeda guryo si yarasa ayagana ka dhisaya dhismaha wax bilaabaynaa bay tiri samarka hadda soo socda taawada bisha ay tahay bishii samarka June ama July ama August ma garanayno samarka bilaabaynaa bay tiri dhismaha ilaa samarka soo socda doonaa applicationada waxaan qaban doonaa 6 bilood ka hor intaan dhamaystirin intaasaan iyo kusoo koobiyaa arrintiisa ka hadashay su'aalo waa inoo dambeeyaan marka hadda waxaan ka fokusinaynaa I would like to introduce Victoria Golden Smith, a Brownlow resident. Welcome, Victoria.
Thank you very much. much for allowing me to speak. This is what I was asked to share is my personal experience and our personal experience of the Broadmoor resident situation with the demolition of our building and the development of that area into some new housing development. So I'm going to just kind of read this for you, and if you have any questions or whatever afterwards, that would be great. I used to live in an apartment complex in Eden Prairie about 9 years ago, and suddenly the rent was going to rise to $1,100. And for me, that was huge. I already worked 2 jobs. I worked a full-time job and a part-time job. Actually, I worked 7 days of every week. And my son had been contributing to rent before he moved out. So I talked with my pastor. I asked him if I should get a 3rd job, or my son moved to Broadmoor Apartments, and their rent was very reasonable. Could I possibly get some help to move into the lower-priced Broadmoor? My church helped me with moving expenses and I moved to my smaller but very nice apartment at Broadmoor. My son told me, however, that there was some talk about the building being torn down sometime in the future. Some people had said it might be a couple of years. But year after year went by, and over 8 years went by, and there was no news about a building project actually happening. Year after year, until September of 2018, there was a meeting called for all residents to attend. Could this be the news of that new development? They would likely be asking us for input, we thought. So a large number of families with children and their babies jammed into the party room to hear what was going to be presented. The presentation started with a joyful overview of the new development, with its retail spaces, new nursing home, assisted living sections, and new market rate apartments. And then we were told we needed to vacate our apartments by March 1st. It was like a silent bomb had gone off in that room. The look of shock quickly escalated into confusion and chaos. And the questions started furiously. Well, what about my children? They're still in school. It's in the middle of winter. What if I can't find a place to live in my child's school district? I don't have the money for first and last month's rent that quickly. And one man said, what do I care about your new development when you're telling me I'm going to be evicted? The presenter had a solution, though. For those who had to move outside their children's school district, he suggested what they do is hire an Uber to take their children to and from school. That fixes it, right? But he did say he wanted to help, but help was a list of apartments in EP and surrounding communities with contact information. That was the help. There was only a few copies of this even, a few copies of the lists. So the rush to get them from everybody in the room was futile. But office staff made additional copies available the next day. Now, was this really a malicious thing? No, I don't think it was a malicious thing. But it was astoundingly ignorant of the needs of the audience to whom this person was speaking. I kept hearing those rising voices of parents, their anxiety and seeming helplessness all through the next day. And I thought to myself, this can't be happening. The needs of the kids have to be addressed somehow. So I went to the office and I let the staff know I wanted to try and help. The office said the owner had set a date that they would let us know if there could be any change to that plan. The date came and went. I thought about presenting our grievance to the city council. So I contacted a friend of mine at the apartment building, Santia Saburi. Please stand up, Santia. And I asked her if she could invite people from the building to get together and discuss our options as a group. So I made some snacks in my apartment. I made some snacks in my apartment for the people that I thought would likely attend this get-together. But Cynthia said she felt it would be better to meet in the party room where we had the original meeting. And she was absolutely right. Many, many people came. All those people couldn't possibly fit in my apartment. So we talked about the fact that Eden Prairie needed to hear our stories. So we put together a leadership team of Cynthia, Nubia, Lina, Lavine, and myself. We set up a WhatsApp group and called ourselves the Broadmoor Friends. So we could send text messages and connect with anyone who wanted to be a member of the group and let the building know, all of us at the same time, what we were going to do. So we organized a petition and signing it over the next few days with residents. Residents manned a meeting room that we had at various hours throughout the next week or so. And we had each resident of the building write down their personal story of how the eviction would impact them. Each family and every child had the opportunity to express themselves. Meanwhile, we set ourselves up with the open mic section of the next city council meeting, and we planned on filling up that council chamber with hundreds of families and children from Broadmoor. Then we wrote a news release and sent it to local media. The title of the release was 136 Children Out in the Cold. We stated our request to have the move date changed to June 30th for the children, and our plans to go en masse to the city council. I shared the release also with the owners of the property, and that, I think, was really the turning point at which the shift took place. Within a few hours of its release, I got a phone call from the developers, and a few hours after that, our move-out date was changed from March 1st to June 30th. Amen. Thank you, God. The truth is, we would have been at every single licensing meeting, and we would have done all we could for the families and children of Broadmoor. I didn't have any children of school age at Broadmoor, but my neighbors did. And we care about each other, and we care for each other. We didn't object to the new development concept. It's a good use of the land there at Prairie Center Drive and Flying Cloud Drive. Well, when we got to the open mic opportunity at the city council, the members had not been informed by the owner of the property of how the eviction of the residents of the building was going to happen. They were blindsided. But the testimony actually was one of great happiness because we had at least achieved our goal. We did it together, and we did it as a group. The question is, did it have to happen that way? No. And what do you think the message was to the residents of Broadmoor? What do you think that message was? What happened with me? I found I couldn't afford rent in Eden Prairie. After living here for over 20 years, I found a place in Chanhassen, and my sister is going to move in with me, and together we will enjoy coming home to Chanhassen instead of our real home, Eden Prairie. Thank you.
And I would like to introduce our next, actually the last panelist, Anissa Hashi. Anissa is a really great listener for a long time as well, and I want the great community leaders and advocates for the community. So welcome, Anissa.
How do I go after that? My name is Anissa Hashi, and I have two daughters, one in the high school and one in primary school here in Eden Prairie. I've lived here for 18 years. And the love that I have for Eden Prairie is the reason that I wanted to talk today. I'm not an expert of anything. I don't necessarily represent everybody, but I know 90% of the people in this room. And all of us love here. We love Eden Prairie because we have invested in Eden Prairie. We have our kids in Eden Prairie. Sadly, in the last 5 to 7 years, families have been leaving Eden Prairie to as far as Burnsville, Chanhassen, Shakopee, and Chaska because of the lack of available affordable housing in Eden Prairie. And believe me, when these families moved, it was agony for them. And they actually bring their kids to school here, no matter where they live. It's a known fact. And that shows how much that we have invested in Eden Prairie as a Somali community in Eden Prairie. And as my friend Zina said, we make Eden Prairie better. We made it better, and we love it just as much as anybody that lived here for 100 years. So I'm so glad that our mayor and elected officials and the developers are all here to hear that this is, for us, this is home. This is our real home. And we don't want to live here. We don't want to go any other place. We will do what we have to do. We will bring our kids to school here. But we don't want to do that. We really want to live here and be a productive member of society. So I just came here to tell you how much that we all love Eden Prairie.
Well, that was a pretty powerful testimony from all people on our panel. I want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. We heard some really great story about stuff that's happening that's producing more affordable housing for us here in Eden Prairie, and then also some of the gaps that we're still trying to address as soon as possible. So thank you all. Right now, I'd like to introduce a couple of people here who are going to talk a little bit back to the stories they just heard. So first, I'd like to have Margaret Kaplan. She is the Policy Director at Housing Justice Center, come up and speak to us a little bit about what she heard and what she can offer us as some speaking back to what she just heard.
Hi, my name is Margaret Kaplan, and as was mentioned, I'm the Policy Director at Housing Justice Center. And I have a couple of thoughts as people were talking. I mean, one is I think that there's a story of some progress that's happened along the way. I was looking at some information that just came out from the Met Council today. And between 2011 and 2017, the City of Eden Prairie, here, I'll kind of move over here and be jaunty. Between those years, the City of Eden Prairie, for families who needed homes, and those families made less than $50,000